This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded on May 16th, 2011. Episode 43, Audacious Arduino Arguments.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
And this is Jeff Keyzer from MightyOhm.com.
And over here is Jeremy Blum from JeremyBlum.com.
Wow, is it open door today?
Yeah, I guess
so. They're just letting everyone in now.
Awesome. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And
it's always nice to be had, as we say here.
Yeah.
We've heard someone had a birthday recently.
Yes, my 21st birthday yesterday, and I'm still alive, so...
He made it. Good.
Awesome. Congratulations.
I made it to the other side. Thanks.
Now, Jeremy, have you been on the show before?
I have not. Well, I mean, I guess I've been mentioned once or twice. I have not yet had the honor to co-host.
Ooh. So you're somewhat of a celebrity at the Amp Hour.
I mean, that's for you guys to decide, right?
We featured Jeremy's stuff a couple times now, so it's...
Yeah,
I think
we have.
Maybe for the purposes of the show, Jeremy could introduce himself, or maybe Chris, you should introduce Jeremy.
Or maybe for Jeff, because he had me send him links before too. So that's right. And Jeff's too lazy to read the links I sent. Jeremy, go ahead.
I did read the links.
Oh, good.
But I think, Jeremy, you should say a few words, because I know that we've had feedback before. We've had feedback before that we've had people on the show, and people are like, "Who is this guy?" And I think they meant me whenever they were saying it.
Okay, well, I guess, so I'm probably the youngest. Well, maybe you guys don't wish I was, but I'm the youngest among all of you, so I'm in college, junior at Cornell in electrical engineering. I do a lot of open source projects. I blog. I do video content for Element 14, as does Chris, obviously. And yeah, I'm just all around the internet and stuff, trying to expose people to the world of engineering.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, we've talked about the Arduino series that you did, and I got a bone to pick with you about that.
Oh yeah.
Can you say Arduino for me?
Arduino.
Yeah, there is an extra syllable there.
Is there? That's just not me.
Sounds pretty good to me. Arduino.
Yeah, I don't know what the correct way to pronounce it is, actually. I've always pronounced it Arduino, but maybe it's Arduino.
There was a link that was on the Arduino site quite a long time ago, and I think I linked to it from my site that had a woman speaking Arduino.
Like an Italian or something?
Like some official...
A native Italian speaker saying the word Arduino. And we should post a link to it from the show notes, but I'll see if I can dig it up.
Okay.
And coincidentally, we've got tons of Arduino stuff on today's show, I think. So
yeah.
It's an Arduino special. Because there is some big news, so we'll talk about that later. Well, I think it's pretty big anyway.
Oh, I think it's huge.
Yeah.
Let's get into shout-outs then. I mean, now we know Jeremy, right? I mean, that's the intro we needed, right? I mean,
everything you need to know about me in a nutshell. You can Google it. Google Jeremy Blum. There you go.
There we go. All right.
Awesome.
So how about some shout-outs? First off, I had Jeremy's birthday on there, so obviously, happy birthday.
Send me a present.
How about an appearance on the Amp Hour? Does that count?
Okay, yeah, all right, that's fair, I guess. I'll take it.
Okay. Next up, though, Jason Pruitt from 555 Contest, and he's been on the site a couple times and commenting and such. He just linked here from his site, rather. So thanks a lot to Jason. We always like that when people put our logo on their site and link back to the Amp Hour. So
absolutely, thanks, Jason.
Yeah, he's got some cool posts too. He did a review on one of the things he got from the 555 contest, so it's pretty
Excellent.
Cool. Definitely.
And if you haven't seen it, Alan got his Aussie prize, the bunch of the shovel load of LCDs. So, and he's uploaded a video showing those actually working and did a cool LCD demo thanking everyone for the contest and everything. So that's great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Is there a webpage that summarizes what everybody got, or like what the complete list of winners is for the 555 contest?
We have the winners, but not necessarily what they got. I didn't.
Okay, because there was a lot of stuff, a lot of really cool things had been donated, right?
Yeah. We had asked everybody to try and give a shout out or tweet or Facebook message to.
We need a montage video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a
epic
montage.
Yeah, you gotta get the
That'd go for
music.
ages.
Yeah, I know, right?
Bags not editing. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Bags
I'd like to see. I'd like to see what everybody got, and also if maybe I know anybody that got cool stuff, so I could go and
Borrow it.
try to borrow it. Yeah.
right. Is bags and a Yankee thing, or is it just an Aussie expression? I bags that.
I've
means
never
I
heard of it.
claim
never
it. You know.
never heard of that.
No. Okay.
What's it
No,
mean?
I think that's just you.
It means that you claim it first. I bags that prize. It means
okay.
We
it
say
means you
that
bag it.
you have dibs.
Yeah,
A
dibs. I say
dibs.
dibs.
Okay. Yep. Same thing. That's right.
Okay. All right. Cool.
There you go.
Yeah. So that Alan's video is great, though. I mean, like he holds up that bag you sent was bigger than what you said. You said a couple envelopes. That thing looked like it was.
It was
sent in like
pretty
a
big.
gunny
I think
sack.
it was about 4 kilos worth of.
Wow.
Times 2.2 for you pounds people, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So that's 8.8 pounds or something worth of LCD displays.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
It was 100. I think it was around 100
Nice.
displays. So
You
awesome.
know, when Jeff was showing me around the shops out in Silicon Valley, we saw some of those displays, and I don't think they were how much you said they were, Dave. You said they were worth like $40 a piece. I saw them for like
No,
$3.
they're not 40. When did I ever say they're $40 a
I
piece?
thought you said they're like $40 a piece.
No,
Something
if you
like
buy 'em at
He meant
J
40
card, they're
Australian dollars.
No, they're about $15 at J card.
15. Okay.
Exaggeration.
Yeah.
Just gets bigger and bigger as time
I
goes
know.
by.
You said they were like $1 gajillion.
No, I
At least.
didn't.
It makes it seem more impressive.
Yeah.
They were some kind of a military contract.
Yeah.
No, I said they were about $15 each, and I was originally going to give away about 80 because that's what fitted in a 3 kilo bag or something. But
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
managed to get a bigger bag, and that was about $1,200 worth. So technically, I think at retail prices, it was probably the most expensive prize. I'm still claiming
okay.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, we let you judge your own thing. That was gift enough for you, Dave.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Jerry were talking about doing another
Jeremy
show
and
for
I.
No, Jerry. I said Jerry.
Oh,
and I.
Jerry. Well, Jerry and I.
Jerry. Why do you always correct me on that, man?
Because you always get it wrong.
Who cares? Me
Well,
and Jerry.
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Grammar's important.
Geez, I'm an engineer and I can't spell
Yeah.
or hopeless at grammar, but at least I get that right.
Okay.
Man.
Jerry and I were talking about doing another show to follow up on some of the videos that we did out in Silicon Valley because we didn't actually get to show a lot of them. Cause some of
Yeah,
them
there was no show floor footage.
Yeah, and that was the best stuff I thought, but it didn't make it through. So we might do a show where we review all that stuff and have people call in or
Excellent.
chat. Yeah.
Do it.
All right. It has been spoken.
Right. Is there a deadline
Jer-
on that? Can we expect a...
Oh no.
Right.
No. Yeah.
kind of like
So,
my
Jer-
blog, huh?
Yeah.
Anytime it gets done. Yeah. Whenever.
Yeah. So Jeremy, you wanted to start off on the Amp Hour in a grand fashion and have a bit of a rant.
A Dave-style rant. So,
Okay.
yeah, this is something that's been brought up on here a bunch of times before and also in a bunch of blogs. And I think, Chris, you blogged about this, right, at some point?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to do an internship this summer in New York City, and a lot of my friends are also going to New York City, a lot of engineering friends, but unfortunately 90% of them are not going to work at engineering places. They're not going to do anything technical. They're going to work at banks.
What?
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know. And so, I know a lot of people that are going to work at banks this summer, and I'm asking them why. I'm like, why you have this engineering education, why are you going to work at a bank? And they're like, it pays, and it does. It pays
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. My personal opinion on this is you're getting the engineering degree, go contribute to the world of engineering. Go help, help progress us forward, help work on something new. We have a hell of a lot of bankers already, right? How many more do we need?
Yeah.
Especially those people getting the engineering degrees. And then, so the most interesting part to me is there's you can get a degree in operations research engineering. And I can see that, right? That kind of seems to follow into the financial world a little bit. But it's mostly like electrical engineers and computer scientists that are doing this. And that's what doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what your guys' feelings are on this, but I think there's certain kinds of engineering degrees that can lend themselves to this, but other kinds, you have the knowledge. Why are you majoring in it if you want to go into the financial world?
So what are they doing at these banks?
It's mostly like a lot of statistical analysis and kind of like
it's software programming and math.
Yeah, they do a lot of software programming because banks use a lot of custom internal software. So there's definitely a lot of that going on for sure.
But what is an electrical engineer doing? Software
most of the double E's that I know that are going to work at banks are doing just like general analysis and like trend mapping stuff. Not so much double E things at all, but just things. You're good at math, you're good at physics. It carries over.
Yep.
I can tell you exactly why they do it. Because they don't give a shit. 90 in my experience, like over 95. It's got to be over 95%. I'm pulling that figure out of my ass. But anyway, over 95% of people who do engineering just don't care about it. Really, they're not passionate about it. They're just doing it because, they're doing it. Because their parents want them to, or their friends want them to, or it sounded good enough, or they think there might be money in it.
The paycheck probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but they're not. They don't care. They're not passionate like us. They're not going to listen to the. They wouldn't even. They've probably never read an electronics magazine in their life. They don't even own a soldering iron or a multimeter at home. You can guarantee it.
Well, maybe this is like a process of like self-selection. Like all these guys who really shouldn't be in engineering anyway go to these banks, and then in the next financial crisis, they'll all be out of a job and.
Well, good. Seriously, I reckon good riddance to them because, they don't. If you're not passionate about what you do, I reckon get the hell out. Go and do banking. Fine.
So I think they've got the potential. I think part of the issue is the education. So they come in to college and they're going to engineering school because they start off passionate about it, and then they go into these classes and you go through all this theoretical bullshit, and you have to it's very theoretical and you do so little hands-on work. And I was talking to one of the professors about this the other day. Like there is no class at Cornell where you pick up a soldering iron or design a PCB start to finish. It just doesn't happen. It's completely theoretical, and all that only happens on your own accord if you work in a lab or something.
Or senior project or something.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of stuff. And I think if that was pushed more, then it wouldn't happen as much. But people come in and they get bored of it.
Do you know what I think the fix for that is? We need hacker spaces in universities.
I think that would be awesome. That would be really great. And there was speak of making just a general EE lab where anyone could come in and do whatever they wanted here, and it kind of fell through the cracks. And I don't think anything ever happened with it. Yeah,
that's hard to find funding for. When you have to go and justify, it's like, well, what we wanted there so people could go there.
Right.
What? No.
Well, it's a part of education, and I think I don't know, maybe corporate sponsorship. I mean, if you put some cool dev tools in there and people actually use them, then that's a great way to reach out to potential future users and people who are going to be specifying your tools. But it's also, I think there's an educational value to hacker spaces. Like a lot of universities have things like back whenever I was in school, the Micro Mouse competition was pretty big in a bunch of schools. Even though my school didn't have it, I saw some competitions at other universities. And I think it's a pretty important part of education to have that hands-on experience. So, so maybe we need to start fighting back to try to keep a generation of electrical engineers from becoming financial analysts.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I agree, but even if you introduce all those courses, there's still going to be X% of people who just don't care. They just don't have an interest in it. They can go to the hacker spaces, do all these cool projects, and they just go, well, what's this shit? I don't care about this. That's just the way of the world. Not everyone is interested in electronics, and you can't force them to be interested. You can't force everyone who finishes their degree to be a good designer and and give a shit about it. Really, I mean, it's just X amount of people are just going to leave the industry. That's always has, always will. I'm afraid.
And it makes you wonder if it's not a perfect system, but a self-balancing system too, because
I think it is pretty much.
Yeah, if all those people that were going into this banking sector ended up, there probably would be decent engineers, not necessarily the best or most passionate ones, right? But if they all went into the field, then maybe there wouldn't be jobs or,
That's right, be careful what you wish for, because they could end up taking our jobs. So, you know, the really passionate ones who deserve to get the jobs, the really passionate and talented ones, they might get, actually, their jobs may get taken by some smart-talking guy in a suit who doesn't know jack shit about electronics and doesn't care, right? But it can happen. So I would rather...
You, though. None of the engineers graduating here are smart-talking guys in suits. They're all wearing cargo pants and looking at their feet.
Oh dear. Anyway, not
school.
all education systems are the same, and it varies in different countries and different states and all sorts of things. So, there's no universal solution to that.
CJ Gervaisi, who's one of the friends of the show too, he wrote on his blog recently about, he actually went for it. He said, Wall Street needs engineers, and they need the engineering culture and the engineering restrictiveness of their own finances. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I think that kind of money, like, man, when it's that big, it just is totally corruptive.
He's off in La La Land. It's like printing your own chips. It's off in fairyland, really. It's it's never going to happen. You get sucked. Man. You can be a badass engineer, go in there, and you're just going to get sucked into the system. That's what happens. The system the system is what it is. And you just get sucked into it. And you've got to conform or you're out. So, you can't go in there and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to bring my engineering, intuition and my skills into this. No, it doesn't happen.
Right.
You go into the job. It's like starting at some jobs, right? You can come in there keen as mustard, but no, you've got to do what the company wants and play by their rules and work by their thinking and methodologies and all that sort of stuff. It's even worse when money's involved.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
It's just he's good. He has good intentions, but he's not living in the practical world. I don't think it's just not going to work.
I would agree.
More engineers aren't going to change that system. They're just going to get sucked into the system and no longer be engineers. End of story.
Yeah. Interesting cultural note. A lot of, you look at a lot of places like China and India too, and engineering is not necessarily there for engineering's sake. I mean, there are a lot of good engineers over there, but I know a lot of engineers are just there to get their degree and, hey, I'm going to management right away. So...
It's a big status thing over there. If you don't become an engineer or a doctor, they're the two big. They're the two big professions, aren't they? I think over there, especially in India, I think it is. Engineering is huge, So if you don't do that, then you're, it's almost shame on you,
I know the schools are very. I have some friends who went to the schools there, and they're very competitive schools, but. If people out there are listening are from India or China and know about that, I'd definitely love to hear about that in the comments section, just because, that's a world I've never been part of.
We're just talking out our ass, really. So we have no idea.
I've had friends that have told me about it, but that's all secondhand stuff. So I'd love to hear firsthand accounts.
Well, I mean, it means a lot more in terms of status over there, right? So, like, you're an engineer, you're seen on top of the pile. Over here, you think, oh, CEO, he's on top. Over there, being an engineer is a much bigger deal than it is here.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah. We should all move to China.
Jeff's on the move.
Love it.
So speaking of on the move, we've had like 3 or 4 suggestions come through about balloon projects. And I'm not sure if it's like all at the same time or it's just the same people are feeding these stories through. But, I was talking about hams last week, and I was asking about stories and suggestions and stuff. And a lot of people actually wrote in. So one was Bob Kokas. He wrote in about a balloon project where he was actually putting stuff up into space. He was going off a tutorial on SparkFun, which I'd never heard of. But and then there's another one here where a bunch of EEs and ham operators launched it up to 96,000 feet. It was a high-altitude balloon from RIT. So
I love that stuff, really. It's just, it's very cool.
Yeah. I think the real simple one that Bob's talking about was where they just sent a cell phone camera up in a balloon and had to take pictures, and then they, parachuted back down. But that stuff's cool.
What kind of data was the 9,600 feet one collecting?
Let's see. So they're sending back
96,000.
96,000. Okay, 96,000 feet.
Yeah. Yep. They had photos. They were doing tracking. So sending out beacons, I believe.
Yeah, you do GPS tracking, and somebody tracked theirs real time. I think Alan's involved in this.
Oh, really?
This sort of balloons. I think maybe I'm confusing him with somebody else, but yeah, there's quite a few of these bloggers involved in these balloon projects. So they're very cool.
Yeah, definitely. So
and they GPS track them. You can get live tracking on the net, and you can watch it as it drifts across the country,
which is pretty cool.
Where will it land?
Yeah, that's good. Then you got to go climb up in power poles and trees and find it again.
And if they're really smart, they'd aim for the White House lawn. Score.
Yeah. I don't know if that's smart. Yeah, and there was one other one. There's I don't know how to say this. Blinkenlichten.org. There's a first-person account of a 2-day adventure to actually find one of these. So it's a near space balloon again, but they actually have a full. It's like a documentary and blog, I believe. So
right,
we'll link to all that stuff.
Got to take a look. How do they find these things? Have they got like a tracker in them after they? I guess kind of where it landed with the GPS. I guess it would continue to transmit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
After it's landed.
Yeah.
They use APRS, which is an amateur radio, I think amateur radio position reporting system.
Right.
So it sends coordinates. But the problem is that whenever the balloon gets down close to the ground, the local terrain can really affect the ability of the transmitter to actually make it to wherever the receiver is. And so I think very often by the time they hit the ground, the antenna, which was probably pointing down, is not really looking so good whenever it hits the ground.
So maybe they've only got like a few hundred feet or a few hundred meters radius to search for something. So
exactly, it's really interesting though. This is something that I've always wanted to do, but I can't really do it myself. I've thought about trying to get some people together because Austin is.
Jeff, are you afraid of balloons? Is that why?
I have a phobia of high altitude balloons.
Latex.
Right. Yeah, I think it'd be great fun too, but it requires a lot of money, a lot of time and investment and stuff like that. So it's not trivial to go up to 90,000 feet.
I see in the show notes here that the second project that's on the list mentions trying to put high voltage electronics and having problems with, I guess, corona discharge at high altitude.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're trying to plot the density or whatever rate of cosmic rays versus altitude, because I know that that's something that I think in the turn of the century, the last century, people were using hot air balloons to chart the occurrence of cosmic rays versus altitude, because it's a very strong function.
Really?
Cosmic rays are they hit oxygen and whatever else atoms in the atmosphere and get broken up into smaller particles, and that's why if you fly on a commercial airliner, you get considerably more radiation exposure while you're in the air than you do just walking around on the ground. That's why...
Which I learned from that XKCD comic.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. And it is a real problem. So I'm going to guess, there isn't a link here, but I'm going to guess that that's what they're doing, because I can't think of any other reason they'd put a Geiger tube in a high-altitude balloon.
Yeah, and that can correlate to like random failures, like random failures in memory and stuff like that. Certain, if it gets hit, a bit will flip over.
I have a question about that. I've heard from time to time, and the last time, and this is probably as close to a rant as you're going to get from me.
Step back.
I've heard. So remember the unintended acceleration BS that started coming about because of Toyota or
the Toyota thing,
and I remember for a little while they were citing cosmic rays were causing these unintended accelerations, and you know that whenever an engineer goes with the cosmic rays, that they have no freaking idea what they're talking about.
It was
they're out
Godzilla.
of ideas. but it made me actually think. Cosmic rays theoretically can alter memory contents, right?
They can, as the geometries go down too. So the smaller the geometry...
Right. And this is one of the reasons why back in the 90s, people were trying to sell me error-correcting RAM for my Pentium, 133.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And you used to have to pay like twice as much, and you could get ECC RAM. But here's my question. I've got a desktop sitting here that, I use for well in excess of 40 hours a week, right? It's my business computer. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM. It doesn't have error correction. I know that there's cosmic rays that are coming through this memory. Why don't I see any failures?
Isn't there just redundancy?
It is a statistical event.
But
it will eventually happen.
But I guess I've never had the computer do anything that would lead me to believe that it had been hit by cosmic rays. I mean, I guess what my point is that computers now have so much memory capacity that isn't the statistical likelihood of having a soft failure, which is I think what they're called, so much higher now? Like, I just don't understand why we don't see cosmic ray related failures in our desktop or laptop PCs.
Maybe we do and we don't know it. A program crashes,
if you have so much memory, right? So the same argument goes the other way. If you have so much, it's probably affecting something that you're not even using, or it's not doing something critical.
That's right.
See, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a computer and I'd like to basically
launch it into space.
No. I'm going to put it on a high altitude balloon.
Stick it in your microwave. Yeah.
Now, I'd like to see, say you take like an AVR microcontroller, which is a lot simpler, and you dump the contents of memory every whatever seconds. Would you ever see a flipped bit? That's my question.
I think it's likely you would. If you ran it long enough, you probably would.
Yeah,
really?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Also, I think the other thing to remember, too, is you got to compare DRAM, which has a refresh rate, right? So if you hit it, basically, DRAM is a little...
DRAM's different, yeah.
Yeah, so there are little capacitors in there, right? So those things are charged up.
It's different to a hard FRAM or something like that.
Right,
so.
or like an FPGA, which has SRAM in it, right? Which is like six
that's right.
flip-flops. And
They're
then
different gate construction.
Yeah, because I was just talking to Microsemi, which just bought Actel, right? And they love Actel because they're going to sell these rad hard parts, right? Rad hard being radiation hardened.
Yeah.
So you can send it into space. It's smart, right? These are very, very expensive parts. But with FPGAs, if you hit it with the cosmic ray and you flip one of those configuration bits, now you have a totally different path for all your signal and not necessarily just a lost piece of data, right? So
you've actually changed the architecture of your program.
of your device, and it morphs into an intelligent, Skynet type device.
It's short circuit. Yeah, Johnny 5 is alive.
Transformers 3 goes to the moon.
Evolution's a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess I'm saying that I've read for years that cosmic rays cause soft failures in computer memory, but I could not tell you that I've ever experienced this, and I'm just curious that if this really was a problem, it certainly seems like we'd be having a lot more problems.
No, I'm sure there's papers on it. I'm sure people have researched it in these huge data centers, the Googles and the Facebook data centers and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure, they've probably taken that sort of thing into account.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it is a genuine problem, and it is a completely statistical problem. There's got to be enough energy in the right point at the right space in memory where it can cause damage at the right energy level on the right type of cell, be it DRAM, SRAM, whatever. And it's fairly complex stuff. But there's other things involved. It's not just cosmic rays. You can get electron migration and all those semiconductor problems. You can probably get quantum fluctuations too.
I think it was Intel. Intel made a CPU or a memory chip back in the 70s, maybe, and they were seeing mysterious failures, and it turned out that there was a small amount of radioactive material in their encapsulation compound.
Nice.
And apparently that took them a while to figure out.
Wow.
Yeah, it certainly
crazy.
would.
Well, speaking of space, how about this other thing that Bob Koch has sent in? Did you guys see this? The new X Prize that was announced?
X Prize, this is the first I've heard of it.
I love it. Yes. So basically, new X Prize. So X Prize in the past has been get to space and get back in 6 months, and that's what I think SpaceX did that, or someone else, or maybe Advanced. I was just reading about this. Advanced Materials or Advanced. crap, whatever. There was a company that wanted, basically. And then another one is the Automotive X Prize, which is 100 miles per gallon, and that's another $10 million prize. But the new one is $10 million to develop a medical tricorder like in Star Trek, which makes my inner geek go crazy.
Are they actually officially calling it a tricoder in the announcement? Is that like a copyrighted thing?
It's probably a trademark, yeah.
I don't know. They said they need to have something. Oh, they have it here. Hold on. It needs to be able to a mobile solution that can diagnose patients better than or equal to a panel of board-certified physicians. So,
excellent.
Pretty heavy duty.
Board-certified physicians.
But that's pretty broad. I mean,
that is pretty broad. Yeah,
it's a very hard challenge to meet. But couldn't the tricorder do like other stuff? It could detect radiation and energy field. I guess it doesn't have to do that, right? It's just got to
the tricorder could do pretty much anything that they wanted to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Magic.
Yeah.
So is this going to be, it all comes down to the technical details. Is it going to be based on the blood thing? Like you need to take a sample of the blood, put it in there and
just figure it out, Dave.
That, or
figure it out.
There's a couple of probes that you stick on your head, or
could you just look up Wikipedia? I mean, is that the kind of thing?
Well, because if it was open, right? If the specs were completely open on this to beat a board of certified doctors, right? Then you would choose the most obscure thing that they would have a hard time. That you can't just walk up to someone and check their symptoms and go, oh, you've got such and such.
Yeah.
This is your problem. You would you'd have probes that could actually detect brain waves or something, and you could say, okay, you've got this problem.
Or they could do it where they could just say, well, it has to be better than Dr. House. And then then the device just has to be a lupus detector.
It always has to come close to killing you before it makes you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there needs to be some boundaries on that one. That's really incredibly broad. I think that's impossible to meet as it stands.
We need more details, but still fun.
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody's going to put $1 million into developing something like this without hard and fast rules. That's what happened to the Google, the X Prize, the lunar thing. You remember the first person? Did anyone claim that?
Yeah.
I can't. No, obviously not. Would have been huge news. It was $10 million for the first person. I think it went up to $20 million. Who put a little probe on the moon, like a little rover, and it transmitted, photos and video back. And all of the teams, there were a lot of, everyone flocked to that one, and then they started going into the fine details of it, and there were so many loopholes in it. They, half of them actually just left. They just actually pulled out and said, well, I'm not going to be involved in this because there's too many loopholes. So, shame, really.
Yeah. There's a couple, there's a bunch of different names for stuff, too. There's the Lunar Lander X Challenge. There's the oil cleanup.
The Lunar X Prize.
Right, and there's the Schmidt Oil Cleanup, Wendy Schmidt Oil Cleanup X Challenge, Automotive. That's Progressive Insurance. Obviously, these are all very sponsored. Right. Yeah. There's the Google Lunar X Prize. There's the Ansari X Prize. There's the Archon Genomics X Prize, which is
wasn't that just to map the human genome? Is that one done?
I'm not sure. It sounds right.
Well, the human genome was mapped before all this X Prize thing came along, wasn't it? That was probably 10 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a long time ago now.
In 2000.
In the scheme of things.
Yeah, it was
especially
in 2000.
for Jeremy, that's half his lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be, let's see, it's $10 million awarded to the first team that can build a device to use to sequence 100 genomes within 10 days or less.
Right. So it's just a computational thing, really.
Yeah, with a recurring
Get the world's
cost of no
biggest
more than
supercomputer, and you can claim the prize.
Yeah, no more than $10,000 per genome recurring cost. And it has to be 98% effective. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, these are all very useful things, but and smart from a business perspective.
I'd like to see some like Windows 7 X prizes. Like, can I get a decent backup tool?
Ooh, yeah, right.
Burn
X prize, $10 million.
The Jeff Keyzer Mighty Ohm X Prize.
Can I get Windows not to crash every 5 days.
Jeff, it's probably that cosmic radiation.
Yeah, actually, now it all comes together.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, I've got a shitload more LCDs I can donate.
$10 million worth?
It'd be funny if the prize was like an OS 10 license or something.
Yeah. Or Linux license.
A Linux license.
License, free Linux license.
Yeah.
Free lifetime Linux license.
There you go.
I love it. All right, that's enough about X prizes.
Well, let's get to this big news about Arduino. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Who wants to announce this?
I put this on here. What it is that...
I put it on there first, Dave. Come on.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
You go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Please.
All right. Where are we? Who is it?
Google.
Sorry, I can't find on the list.
The Google one.
Google
27.
and Android. Android basically... So Google had their I.O. conference to start off, and they announced a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, no, this wasn't the one I was thinking of. Okay.
Oh,
no, sorry.
okay.
No, I was thinking about the other Arduino one.
Are you talking about the microchip one?
Yeah, I'm talking about the microchip thing.
I don't
okay,
think that's as
let's
big.
discuss the Android
Oh,
one.
yeah. Okay, there were two.
Sorry.
Yeah, there were two this week.
There were.
I
There's
didn't
two
see
big...
that.
Or last
Okay.
week.
I didn't see that.
things.
Okay, yeah. So I'll go with a Google thing. So Google had this conference called the I.O. conference. It was out in San Francisco. And basically they announced a bunch of stuff. They released the 3.0 version of Android, which is they're calling ice cream sandwich, which I think is a really clunky name, but I like it.
Yeah.
Because Honeycomb is their iPad rip-off, thingy. Let's just call it like it is, folks. But the cool thing that they announced, and this has been all over the place, is that basically they announced an ADK, which, anyone?
Android
Help?
Development Kit.
Okay.
There we go. Basically, though, it's a defined API to talk through the USB interface for now, possibly Bluetooth in the future, down to this Arduino board. So basically, they are gunning to have, in my opinion at least, they're gunning to have Android as the screen for everything, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got one question with this. Because it goes through the micro USB connector on there, and it obviously acts as a host. Does it actually provide 5-volt power through there? Because you use it to charge through there, but can it back power devices through from your phone? Does it actually output 5 volts? I don't know.
I can't imagine you would want to. It would drain the battery pretty fast.
Yeah, but it'll at least be convenient. If you've got some low power little thing that you want to plug in, it means that it doesn't have to have its own power supply.
Yeah,
and that opens up a whole new level of apps, really.
Yeah, you talk about like a tricorder, right? You plug it into your phone.
Yeah, exactly. You plug in your little dongle, detects your blood cell count or something, and you could and it's all powered from that. Doesn't have to have its own power supply or.
But did you guys see how expensive
it's $400
reference design is?
$400.
Heck, it's insane.
It's
Well,
cool.
and
They
that's
got money.
$400 American dollars, isn't it? That's about $2 Australian. Bargain price here, fellas.
I can't believe that. What?
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking.
What's in this thing that it costs $400?
That's the thing that makes no sense. I put another thing on here. Someone already hacked it to work with an Arduino Uno, no problem.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that.
What is on this that's making it $400?
It's because that's not their business. They don't want it to be their business, so they charge $400 because they can.
They didn't get the memo.
Right? They don't care. They're not in the business of supplying hobbyists. End of story.
I find that
so
pretty
$400 is actually quite reasonable for that.
Yeah.
I find that offensive.
Oh, well, Jeff.
I don't really. It's just normal business for that sort of thing. That's what they're targeting. They're not targeting the
I don't think they're trying
average
to make
hobbyist.
money.
They know everyone's just going to go make their own one. So why should they make it $20,
That's true. If you make it prohibitively high, then people just do that naturally, right? It'll drive the
That's right.
the
They
makers
just
out there
don't want to be involved with it. They just seeded it, and
But then,
it's
unlike
fine.
Arduino, where you have one common reference design, there's going to be like 10 of them, and they're all going to be different, and it's going to be fragmented. And I just don't like. Why did they have to go and do that?
Yeah, but it's the same API, right? It's just literally a different hardware, isn't it? So
okay. So I guess they're really using a traditional reference design model with this, and no one's actually going to use that hardware in a product.
Right. It's not actually in. It's not a Google made thing. I mean, it's based on, what was it, Micro someone who it was actually based on another kit, not there.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Crap. I
Okay.
saw it
I'm
on
not
Adafruit,
familiar
I
with
think.
that.
That's where I saw it. I'll look it up.
Okay.
You
Well,
guys keep talking.
I can't talk actually because I am one of the developers of the quite possibly the world's most expensive development board.
What's
$4,000. The Altium
Oh,
NB2.
Yeah.
$4,000 US.
Yeah.
They
What are you gonna do?
halved the price and they still didn't sell them.
Oh, well. Doesn't matter now, does
There
it,
you go.
Dave?
Sorry, that's my little Altium rant for today.
Yeah, there we go.
Crazy
Well,
stuff.
I'm really happy that someone hacked the Arduino to interface with this 80K.
Yeah, and apparently
It really wasn't much of a hack. It was just changing a few of the hard-coded port bits, and that's it.
Oh,
Bang.
so they changed
Done.
the VID, PID, and
And,
as long as
yeah,
it looks the right
yep,
USB
trivial.
descriptor. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. I can't find it, what it was based on. Sorry, I can't find what the kit it was
Yeah,
based on.
I can't find it
Ah,
either.
Who cares? It's $400 and everyone's going to use something else. Well, everyone by meaning our type of audience. Rather
that would
than
be interesting to
some
see how the
commercial one.
uptake
'Cause
is.
$400 is nothing for any commercial company or any, anyone serious. Even at the hobbyist level, it's not a showstopper. If you really want to develop this widget, $400 isn't going to stop you.
If you're going to go into business selling something based on it, then but
it's
if
trivial
you're,
cost.
if you're a hobbyist,
Yeah.
then $400 is a bit much to stomach.
Well,
do you think
it
they're
is,
actually
but if
targeting
you're-
hobbyists? I don't think they are.
Well, no, they're not. But I
They
don't
aren't, and that's the
understand
thing.
Why did they choose to go with the Arduino then if they're going to... Because the Arduino is so clearly aimed at hobbyists, so why the Arduino plus the $400 price tags that doesn't, match?
Maybe just because of existing customer base. I mean, I really don't think... Who would price it at that? You look at the market, right? And you say...
The committee would. It's designed by committee,
maybe.
right?
I don't think we should really worry about this stuff, honestly.
No,
the
I
fact that
wouldn't-
it's
I
out
wouldn't
there,
care.
that's fine
That's
with
right.
me. The fact that they're opening up the phone, it's really brilliant from that perspective, because the way I see it, right, when what they're, I'm guessing, hoping for, is that people design with this standard API, right, and then eventually you start having people design it into products. It's going to branch a lot of different ways, now that Microchip is doing whatever, and a lot of other people are going to match the form factor. You're going to have people design it into, home automation stuff, so maybe you'll be able to push down the price of, a window shade controller or a washing machine or anything else like that, and then Google becomes the centralized device for controlling home stuff.
Well, they actually specifically mentioned that at Google I/O. They released a bunch of their home control stuff as well. They had Google light bulbs there, basically.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay,
Right.
So it seems like it's kind of aimed at the same platform kind of stuff.
maybe I should work for Google.
And as Jeff said, why couldn't it be low cost from the start and then everyone uses the same development kit? Well, you can't have one development kit that that meets everyone's needs.
Yeah,
You're going to
that's
have
true.
a whole bunch
Yeah.
of different ones, just simple as
Yeah.
that. So
You're right. You're
really.
right.
So they just put an expensive one out there, and if people want to buy it, they buy it. If not, they knew certainly well that a whole flood of them would come along to meet every niche need possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, none of this means anything to me because I don't have an Android phone.
Oh, I've got an Android. Yep, Android's cool. And Android's been open from the start. That
Yeah.
was the whole idea of it, wasn't it? Open hardware, and was the hardware open?
I don't think the
I
hardware
think
is
technically it was.
No, I don't think so.
That was
and,
my recollection.
And also, the software it's got some weird licensing in it. I believe the way it was explained to me is that the kernel they modified the kernel or something like that, so it's not actually like traditional Linux. They
Right.
played some funny games with licensing and everything too.
Yeah, okay.
So
Bastards.
I finally found it on Phil Therone's article on Make. He said that it's Circuits at Home is the name of that. It's a Mega board. So the Mega 2560 from Circuits at Home. So that's what it's based on.
Right, there you go.
All right.
Well, that's a good step. That's a huge step forward.
I
It's massive.
get behind it 100%.
Yeah,
So-
it means that anyone with, even pretty feeble skills can actually develop an app. A physical hardware app
Yeah.
for a phone. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Anyway, next up on the Arduino
Yeah.
bandwagon, Microchip have released, in combination with Digilent, is that their
Digilent.
name? Digilent?
What kind of company are they?
I always say Digilent. Is it Digilent?
I think it's
As in-
Digiland.
Sort of slurred one word.
Yeah, like
kind of.
Agilent. Digilent.
Oh, right. Okay. Digilent. Sorry. I always, for some reason, because maybe because it's, close to DigiKey and...
Oh, yeah, there you go. I
don't know. Anyway.
But what kind of company? Are they software or...
They're a hardware company.
Too.
They sell development boards. They sell FPGA development boards mainly.
Okay.
Really, I think. Anyway, Microchip have teamed up with them, and there is now a Microchip PIC compatible 32-bit version of the Arduino. It's called the Chip Kit, that's their name from TG-Lent, and there's the Max 32 one, and there's the Uno 32. Once again, compatible with the Arduino Uno and the Arduino... Is it the Max? No, it's not the Max,
Mega.
Is it?
The Mega.
Mega, that's right. Fully pin compatible, and it works with the Arduino, the actual interface, the actual software, the actual development environment.
I'm going to be the first to say...
They've released their own tweaked version of it, so...
Why did the world need this?
Because they want to capture the hobbyists.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because it's important. Because it was you were locked in to Atmel, and I said from day one,
parts. The parts
you can't get the parts. People are designing things around. I've had this problem. I'm designing something around the Atmel in the Arduino factory, and you can't get the parts. It's a real problem. So having that was that was my ideal goal for this Arduino, was that it didn't matter what chip it was. When it started, it was so, up until now, it's been totally associated with Atmel chips only. That just locks them in. But somebody has now ported it. Well, Microchip and this mob have ported it to the Microchip. And next, it'll be ARM and something else. It's very important.
What compiler are they using?
They would use the GCC version for the Microchip. Oh. There is actually a GCC compiler. It's free. People think, only Atmel have the free GCC compiler. It's bullshit. Yeah, Microchip have one too.
I've heard some disparaging remarks about the PIC GCC compiler before.
I've heard it both ways as well. The Atmel one sucks too. They both suck ass, right?
Well, let's hear it from the Arduino video master himself. What do you think, Jeremy?
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. The same reason that Dave said. I think it's going to be a big deal. I've definitely designed things with Arduino with the intention to move to an Atmega chip, and then I'm locked into the Atmega chip because I designed the prototype with Arduino. So if I have the opportunity to now do a 32-bit PIC, that's pretty enticing, and so I might end up using a microchip part instead.
Well, why don't you just use a Cortex M3 with the embed or something like that? I mean, these boards like this have been around for a long time. I guess this is the first one.
It's the Arduino platform.
Yeah, this is the first one that actually uses. This is the first one that uses the IDE.
The IDE exactly. And that's the whole point. Anyone can make. Yeah, the Arduino is nothing. It's just yet another development board that's been around for 30 years, nothing special. It's the IDE that
and the
makes
people, and the critical mass. We mentioned that a lot of times.
And the critical mass as well. All the plug-in boards. Well, this is fully compatible with the plug-in boards. And the other thing is, it's 32-bit, right? It's got this massive, powerful 32-bit PIC in there, so it gives you more grunt for less price. This is actually cheaper than the Arduino. They've priced it cheaper. So there's almost, you've got much more power for less price. It's fantastic. And dare I say it, a more available chip.
Huh.
Yeah.
And
seriously, it's Atmel are being killed at the moment. Their CEO had to publicly come out and say we're working on the chip supply problem because they had massive problems, and that's a big deal.
That's
and
a good problem
just
to have
another source, and it means you can stick with your Arduino. You don't have to move into a dedicated micro environment either. Right. You can stick with the Arduino if you want.
Right, 90% of the people are doing it from such a high level that it shouldn't matter, right? And then then it becomes a price war.
Well, I mean, ultimately, this is going to fragment the Arduino market because you're going to see sketches that only work with this
for sure.
Digilent board. You're going to see sketches that don't work on this board. I mean...
but you have to, because the Arduino is not the be-all, end-all platform as far as
but
hardware is concerned.
One of the reasons it's extremely successful, just like if you think back to the days of the Commodore 64 or the Apple II, it's because everyone's running the same hardware. And so that means that the examples for any one circuit, for the most part, now Arduino Mega aside, which I think is kind of I don't like the Mega, but you have
then how do you do a high-end product?
Well, you probably don't use an Arduino.
The Uno is not that powerful, quite frankly.
No, I realize that, but the Arduino is not supposed to be the end-all starter kit for any product development. Well, there's the answer to your question. Really, you need much more powerful and cheaper platforms. Yeah, but I'm just concerned that for hobbyists starting out, having to figure out, wait, do I get an Uno or do I get this Digilant board? Or, oh, my friend has the Digilant board, I better get what he has. I worry that this is going to work against what has made Arduino so successful, and that is having a standard, least common denominator, admittedly, hardware platform that everybody can start from, so that everybody's code, excluding the weird variants like the Mega, like I said, everybody's code runs on the reference design that you have in your hands. And so I think that's really, really critical for a beginner starting out, is to be able to draw from a huge code base that works on your hardware. Now you've got this alternate.
Then you stick with the Uno. You buy that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You're saying that the Mega is some weird offshoot, right?
Yeah,
I think the Mega is. There's two platforms with the Arduino. There's the standard Uno, and there's the Mega. If you want something more powerful,
and now we've got something else.
Yeah, but they're fully compatible. They're granted,
I
haven't checked it. Right?
Compatible. They're not fully compatible.
Have you actually tried it? They're claiming it is. They're claiming it's compatible.
I can tell you that the Mega is not fully compatible with the Uno, for example. So I can only imagine that a PIC-based version is not going to be fully compatible. I mean, if you look at their board, it's got too many I/O lines.
Well, come on, seriously.
So it can But, so somebody
You're
goes and they use
that the microchip Uno board is not going to be compatible with the genuine Arduino Uno.
Well, I think it's going to be compatible in one direction, right? So if something was written to work on the original Arduino Uno, it should work on the PIC. But something that works on the PIC
they're claiming it's fully compatible. They're claiming it's designed to be.
It can't be. There's a different number of I/O pins. It can't be fully compatible.
It can't be fully compatible. You can't write something for the Digilant board and then go back to an Uno and expect it to work if you're using I/O
lines. Of course you can.
lines.
It's completely pin compatible, the same number of I/O. Are you guys talking about a totally different board to I am?
The board that I'm staring at here is the
Mega one, yes.
Yeah,
right?
it looks
they
like
also
a Mega.
have an Uno one.
But it's got, on the top, there's a dual row.
There's an extra row of
Yeah.
I/O, yes. I was going to talk about that. That's a separate argument entirely, right? They've added an extra row of pins on top of what looks like an extra row of pins on top of the standard Uno footprint.
Exactly. So if you write something to use those pins, then
sure. No, okay, granted. Right?
Yeah.
But if you stick to the regular pins, do you agree that it's completely compatible? Or it should be?
I would hope so if they designed this correctly.
Exactly. They designed it to be fully compatible. Right? Yeah, they've gone and they've added another row of header pins here, which, well, someone had to eventually, right? Because you may not want the Mega footprint, that huge footprint. You may want the smaller Uno footprint, but with more I/O. So somebody had to take a step forward. Are you saying that only the Arduino team are able to do that?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se.
No, what I'm saying is that I think part of the reason that Arduino has been so successful is that they have a simple and standardized development platform.
They do, but it has to progress forward. It's got to. You can't just, stick with that for the next 20 years.
We used the PIC 16F84 for, 10, 15 years? Yeah, I know what you're saying. I agree. I just... Things like this turn my stomach a little bit just because I know they're trying to get... Microchip or whoever, Digilant, is trying to get a piece of the Arduino pie by, developing this evaluation board that uses a PIC. And I just worry that fragmenting the Arduino landscape with all, the Cortex M3 stuff with the embed, which is hardly even like an Arduino at all. Now you've got this guy, which is sort of, it's supposed to be compatible, but of course there's going to be corner edge cases where things don't quite work the way that they're supposed to. I just worry that now you're going to have somebody who's never played with Arduino before. He goes to pick up an evaluation board, and how does he know which one to start with?
Well, he gets a genuine Arduino.
Yeah,
is that concern? Is your only concern is that they've added the new rower headers, or are you concerned that they've chosen a different microcontroller architecture?
I guess if it works 100%, I'm not too worried about it. Although
I'm sure some of the clones out there don't even work 100%, right? Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's true.
This is something that Arduino already has to deal with, right? Because it's an open source hardware company. So there's all these other companies that make Arduino clones, and Arduino distinguishes itself by saying, only we can use our trademark and our name. And this is something I ran into firsthand when I tried to put Arduino in my videos. You guys remember this, right? The Arduino people contacted me, and they're like, "You can't do that."
Did they?
Yeah. So they're pretty intense about protecting what is genuine Arduino. So I don't think it's too hard to figure that out. And then if you want to get the genuine Arduino, you get the genuine Arduino. Otherwise, you should be able to tell pretty easily that it's not made by the Arduino company. It's just Arduino compatible in some way, and then you're kind of on your own.
I guess.
I think it's a good step forward. If the Arduino hasn't gone away. Those who want full compatibility and guaranteed to work with every sketch out there, you buy the genuine Arduino. These are for people who want options. And that's not a bad thing. I can't see how that can possibly be a bad thing. I think it's fantastic.
Cool. I'm definitely getting... Well, so one of the guys at Microchip sent me an email, and they said, we're going to release... So I don't think this was technically supposed to be released yet, was it?
No, it wasn't. I got the same email. They're sending me a kit as well. And it was embargoed until May 21st.
Mine said the 18th. Maybe it's different because you're in Australia.
No, they said that there was a virtual press conference on May 18th, but then embargo, it was very clear. It was to have a press embargo until May 21, but it's on the DigiLent site.
Oh, we didn't make it to the 18th. It says 16th for here, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Oops.
So wait, you guys are telling me that you're both testers for this evaluation board?
Yeah, they said they're going to send me a kit.
Yeah,
so we've got the totally unbiased.
Yeah. We're not.
I have to say, for the record, no one has offered me a kit. Although if they do, I will probably accept it.
Right.
At least he's honest about it.
I've got an interesting observation. Notice the in-circuit serial programming header. If you're looking at the photos, it doesn't work real well on radio. But if you look at the photo of the board on the left-hand side, JP3, which is the in-circuit serial programming header, the pins are staggered.
That's a SparkFun invention.
Oh,
so SparkFun released some Eagle footprints for headers that are staggered, and you know why they do that? It's so that if you stick the headers into the board, they don't fall out whenever you try to solder them.
Oh, is that it? Well, you can buy them with little crimps on them. You can buy the connectors with the crimp on the pin.
But this is their way. I think it looks ridiculous.
That's a good idea, though.
So will that header work? Will that footprint work with a standard header?
They claim that it will.
Yeah, it does. It fits more securely.
I've never tried to do it. It rubs me the wrong way.
Right.
But they say that it holds the header in. Yeah, I wonder if SparkFun patented that.
Right. Okay.
that was the first
I've done
time that
similar things in the past before.
That's the first time I'd ever seen that before was SparkFun. So it looks like a little snake or something on their board.
Yeah, exactly. It's a snake style with a slight curve in it.
Yeah.
Weird.
So here's another thing on the compatibility of this. I don't know if you guys read the Hackaday thing on this, but this thing also has capability of USB 2 controller, Ethernet, and CAN controllers. So there's going to be there's definitely going to be shields that work with this, and sure as hell don't work with any of the standard Arduinos.
Oh, because all of those interfaces are built into the PIC 32. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So they'll just be pass-through pins to like a
they'll just be,
RG45
you
or
use
something.
like a dual-purpose I/O pin. Either use it as an I/O, or you can use it as an Ethernet interface or USB host.
So there's definitely going to be some fragmentation on the shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I like... it makes me a little bit nervous to have shields.
Oh, you pussy.
No.
Okay.
I'm
Go
this
on.
totally different topic. So you have a shield that has a USB 2.0 port or something on it. So I want you to think from a signal integrity standpoint what it's like to have a USB 2.0 high-speed signal go through a pair of pin headers and some traces which are not necessarily differential. Same thing for Ethernet too. You've got kind of an electrical mess, right?
So you mean actually
great.
passing these up through the header pin, the 100 mil space pins, right?
Right. And then you've got
So you're saying it's better to go
I
low
agree.
and like real slow out to a specified chip that can do that kind of thing. That's what
Well,
you're saying, Jeff?
no. I think it's better to have those. If you're going to have like an RJ45 port, it should be on the Arduino board. You shouldn't have to pass those signals through the pin headers. I don't know. Maybe it'll work, but
I agree. They probably should have.
As an RF guy, that also gives me a little bit of a
Gives them the willies.
Heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they should have included that stuff on the base board, but I guess there's limited room there, right? But they could have put the in-circuit. They could have moved the in-circuit programming header, and there's a bit of space there. They could have put a
Look at all the
USB
stuff
host
that's on
there
that
or
board
something.
too. There's a lot of stuff on that board. There's kind of a lot going on. There's a bunch of
they've
discretes.
got the main chip plus the in-circuit debugger thing.
Yeah.
Like it's effectively a PIC Kit 3 on there, really. They're putting like a little...
Okay,
That's
got
what the
it.
extra chip there next to the USB. Because the whole idea of the Arduino is that you don't need an external programmer. It plugs straight up to the USB.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what the Arduino has. It's actually got it's got the kernel built in to allow it to do that. So, and the PIC needs the same thing. It needs an external PIC. It needs a second chip to act as an interface to... Oh, no, it's just a serial. That's right. It's just a serial converter, isn't it? Oh, that's right. Duh.
So is this... Where can I get schematics for this thing?
You can download it straight from
I
the
see this.
site.
I see this, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
they
they've
used
got the
they
Eagle
used Eagle
files, yeah.
too. Wow.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Jeff sold.
There you go.
All right, so we're running out of time here. We need to do our chip of the week, and this is from Dave this week.
Well, we don't really have time. I think we're out of time.
Again? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
we're out of time. Thanks for reminding. I wasn't even looking. I was too busy ranting.
Yeah, that was a hefty Arduino conversation.
Yeah, really.
I felt left
It
out.
was.
I'm like, I've used them a couple times.
Sorry, guys.
Well, let's. So what's going on this week? So Jeff,
Maker Faire.
you're going to Maker Faire, right?
Maker
Oh,
Faire
yeah.
is this weekend in San Mateo, California, and I'll be presenting my Wi-Fi radio project on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. And also the Great Global Hackerspace Challenge. 3 finalists have been selected, and I'll be on the panel of judges on Sunday at 5:30, I think, to announce the winner. And the winner gets a bunch of cool stuff, including $5,000, $6,000 oscilloscope.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't they flying? Who are the finalists? Weren't they flying them in from anywhere in the world?
The
the event?
finalists are from Build Brighton, which I guess is in the UK, right?
Okay.
Hackerspace Charlotte in North Carolina in the United States, and Pumping Station 1, which is in Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
Right. So there's only one overseas thing.
yeah.
How many people are they going to send? Geez, you'd have to draw straws to see who actually scores
Start
the free
renting a
trip.
bus.
I actually don't know. I don't know. Well, we will find out.
Right, because these are a hackerspace thing, so it's a collective
I
of
know.
people. It's not just one person at a hackerspace, presumably.
Yeah, they
It's
haven't
a-
shared that detail with me. I was at it at the last minute, so maybe I'm supposed to know this stuff, but I
Right.
don't.
Yeah, and if people haven't seen, I mean, some of the projects on there are very, very impressive. I saw the San Francisco Noise Bridge one where they were like monitoring yogurt, which sounds
It was kombucha.
kombucha, which is yogurt.
It's fermented tea.
Yeah, whatever. But still,
Tea,
Biomass.
yogurt, whatever.
yeah, yogurt, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fermented.
There were some really interesting ones, and I think there were 28 hacker spaces that entered, and a lot of them were really cool. I had to look at all of them, and it was really, really hard to select down to finalists. So yeah, there's a lot of great projects on the Element 14 website.
Yep.
They actually invited myself and Chris to be judges in this thing, but they invited us too late.
Yeah, we
so.
sat on our hands, and then it was too late.
We were just too busy at the time and didn't reply. And well, they wanted to reply within like a day or. Yeah.
And I think their travel budget for judges was very low.
Yeah.
Also, so I happened to be going to the Maker Faire anyway.
Right. So they said you could turn up. Right.
They said
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that is
Excellent.
our amp hour.
Well, that was a good show. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, as usual, as always.
Yeah.
And Jeff. Yep.
All right. Well, people should always leave comments on the site. We always love that. Hit us up on Twitter. Jeremy's SciGuy14 on Twitter. Jeff is Mighty Elm on Twitter. Dave is EEV blog, and Chris actually uses his name, so Chris_Gamble on Twitter.
Lame.
Freak.
No, whatever. All right.
Is there a Chris Gamble with no underscore on Twitter?
Yes, there is, and it's me.
So watch out for. Oh, okay. I was going to say watch out for that guy.
Why don't you use that one? Why do you use the underscore?
That's just how I started it. I could switch it over sometime, but
no, you can't switch. It's too late.
No, it's too late. Yeah.
Yep. You're locked in.
All right.
Sorry, dude.
All right. Whatever.
Fail.
All right, guys. Well, we'll talk to you guys soon, and Dave, I'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
See ya.
Guess what I am? Ready? Like me. I'm a Facebook button. Do it.